We are catching up with Broncos Director of Team Nutrition, Bryan Snyder. Bryan, the Broncos have a world-class facility and cafeteria, but since we're not there and having to do this virtual voluntary offseason program, how's it been helping players with diets and their overall nutrition from afar?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, it's been challenging. Like everybody, we kind of just have to adapt, and we have to try to figure out, what's how we can best help our players out, and that's kind of really where we're at. We still have guys that we just drafted, and guys that need our help, and guys that need educated, and so we've been popping in on Zoom calls and things like that with position groups, and we've been reaching out to guys just over the phone and FaceTime and things like that, just to, for one, just introduce ourselves to some of the rookies. And it's kind of an awkward first introduction for somebody that we'll be spending every day with once we get back. But just to let them know what we can do for them, and everything from supplement evaluations to nutrition plans to recovery to teaching them how to cook. So those are all things that we try to cover with all the guys, and just try to educate them as much as possible right now.
Yeah, how exactly are you keeping in contact? You talk about joining in on these Zoom meetings. Is that something you guys do daily, weekly? What does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, once we got back and we were able to be in communication with players, it was something that we really hit hard for the first couple of weeks. We popped into, like I said, every position group and had 5 or 10 minutes just as a quick introduction, and then at that time we just tell them, like, hey, this is cell phone, this is email, this is how we're going to be communicating with you. Here's recipes for how to cook, here's recovery shakes, here's videos, here's all kinds of things that you guys can do on your own. And obviously they have access to us, 24/7. So that's Zoom and FaceTime and texting, and that's really it right now.
How are the guys kind of doing preparing their own meals at home, something they probably don't do regularly?
No, it's different. I mean, it's one of those things where, the rookies are used to leaning pretty heavily on their college cafeterias and things like that. The older guys that have been with the Broncos are also used to leaning on our training table and our 13 chefs that we have to cook for them and things like that. So it's a challenge, because this is really the first time they've really had to be completely on their own, where they're learning how to cook and they're learning how to, grocery shop and what to look for. And it sounds kind of crazy, but when they, just throughout the evolution of their careers, I mean, they're used to going to college and having things in the NFL provided for them, shakes, snacks, things like that. So it's a challenge, but it's something that guys have actually really adapted well to it. I mean, they're really it's actually a good opportunity for us to kind of teach them, because they're really open right now. They're not doing anything else but trying to learn the playbooks. So it gives them an opportunity to do that.
So true. What are some examples of meals that you've been sending them, and kind of what are the main food groups that you're focusing on? I know it's probably different per player, but
yeah, well, even just teaching them how to grill, teaching them how to make recovery shakes. I mean, obviously they're doing their own workout programs and things like that, but when they're done, they should still be recovering properly with good protein, carbohydrates. And again, a lot of the players are used to having that done for them. So a lot of guys didn't have blenders. They didn't have things like that. So telling them, hey, you got to pick up this blender. Here's the ingredients. And I think the big thing for us is just making sure that they get recovered after every one of those lifts. And so being able to show them, here's a low calorie, here's a high calorie shake, and this is how much protein is in there, and this is how easy it is, and you can make it the night before. Just kind of going through that. That's really what we've been trying to teach them, in addition to here's how you grill your proteins. This is how easy it is to throw some vegetables in the oven. Just the really, really basic and simple things is really what we're trying to teach them. So,
are you finding that a ton of guys don't really know a lot of the basics in the kitchen? And you talked a lot about guys transitioning from college now into the NFL.
For sure. Yeah. I would say the rookies are having the hardest transition. A lot of the older guys, on the team, and those guys, they know how to cook. They've done it before. This is just something that, as rookies, once we get them in our facility, we teach them how to do it. We have a teaching, kitchen where we have our chefs that show them how to do these things. And once you have somebody there to teach them, they've responded really well. It's a lot more challenging, obviously, trying to teach somebody how to cook over Zoom, but it's it's one of those things that guys have adapted, like I said, really well. They've taken to it, pretty good in that regard.
Now that everyone's kind of stuck in quarantine, it seems like a ton of people have been just snacking while they're bored. I know I've been doing a ton of that. How are you suggesting these guys keep kind of a consistent diet, but also enjoying some of those snacks and other foods that they love?
Well, I think just teaching them on what snacks they should be having. I mean, that's the big thing, is when you go to the grocery store, if you're ordering food, whatever it might be, here's the 20 snacks that you should be doing that are higher in protein, things like trail mix and beef jerky, and not the super high carbohydrate, granola bars and things like that. So kind of teaching them, things that maybe they're used to doing in college, and now as you're a pro athlete and, they're going to be coming to a much higher altitude than what they're used to. They have to eat more calories. They have to push the fluids a lot more. So a lot of guys just aren't aware of that, and they shouldn't be. I mean, this is our opportunity to kind of teach them those things. So teaching guys like, hey, look, you should be eating 6 times per day. You should be, making sure you're getting all the protein you need, and this is how to do it. And showing them with an ingredient list and a shopping list on how to do that is really what we're really pushing. So like I said, guys have been really receptive, and because they don't know, they're dying to know about it, and it's been good. So as good as it can be.
Now, through these Zoom calls, have you seen some of the guys kind of find a new hobby in cooking? Have any of the guys kind of really enjoyed preparing their own meals at home?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's like I said, I mean, guys kind of have to do that because they know that they can't just eat fast food all day, because that's not going to help their body fat. And we'll know that when they come back based off of, how they're looking and things like that. So a lot of guys have been super open to it. And like I said, my assistant, Brett Eisen, has been, cooking with guys and teaching guys, cooking for them just in their houses and things like that. And just kind of showing them like what to do. And guys like, Bradley Chubb and Austin Fort, I mean, they've really taken, in a very positive way on how to cook, and they're really interested in it. So hopefully it's something they can take with them forever. So.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Thanks so much, Bryan, for your time. I know you probably have a busy off season trying to keep on track with all of these guys, but hopefully you get to see them in person here sooner than later.
Yeah. Hopefully pretty soon. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.